Alright, so this video is to help you set up your paper for the review that you're about to solve in Schoology. So we're going to solve this review on notebook paper in our jam, and we're going to keep it in here so that we can refer back to it if we need to, or if I need to see your work later on. So at the top, I want you to go ahead and give yourself a title and put Review, Units 1 and 2. And once you have your title, I want you to take your paper and I want you to go ahead and fold it down the middle, creating that invisible line so that we can kind of partition our paper and get the right amount of problems on each page. So we're just going to skip one line here at the top. And I know your first problem has some arrays and it's asking you some information about the arrays that they display. So when you see those array models, I'm going to actually draw the first array model for you. So your first array model is going to be a box that looks like this. And we're going to cut it 3 times vertically and 3 times horizontally. So if I were going to label this, I would say that this is a 1, 2, 3, 4 by 4, and then that could tell me how many pieces are inside. Now the next box, I'm just going to draw a generic box. I'm going to let you partition that later on when you see all of the pictures, but I would expect you to label how many are this direction and how many groups there are. And then the third picture that you see, I'm going to just kind of barely sketch that. It's going to be a stacker, and I would expect you to be able to write some information about that as well. So once you label and partition these boxes off according to the pictures that you see in Schoology, you should be able to easily find your answer. Moving on to number 2. Number 2 is a comparison problem, and so you have some information that you're going to be dragging and dropping into the blanks, and you're going to be making a statement that is greater than some more information. So just making sure that you label your places carefully. We have just 2 places on the left hand side, so I'm going to label that the tenths and the hundredths. Of course, this is the ones. And over on the right hand side, we have the ones, the tenths, the hundredths, and the thousands. Remember, if at any time I go too fast, you can just pause your video and catch up. So this is for problem number 2. I'm going to go ahead and set up number 3. So number 3 should probably be kind of in the middle of your paper, right here. And number 3, you're going to be solving an equation. So I'm going to write C is equal to 648 minus parentheses 13 times 4. And so as I set this up, I'm thinking to myself, how many actions do I see? I see 2 actions, so I need 2 lines to get to the answer C. And I also just want to write my reminders out here to the side. Okay? Again, if I write too quickly, just go ahead and pause the video so you can catch up. Number 4 is going to be a question about prime and composite numbers. So I'm going to let you use your prime notes for this question. And I want you to use your factor book. If you use your prime notes and your factor book, you should be able to find the correct answers. Now that's leaving me with just enough space for number 5 and number 6. So I'm going to go ahead and put 5 and 6 here. And what you need to know about number 5 is that there are 2 correct answers that we're looking for. So make sure that you find 2 answers. I'm going to go ahead and label that, kind of draw a little box around that. Okay? And they are giving you some money. And so the money that they're giving you is $304.82. And this is going to be a place value question. So I would encourage you on this question to label your places. So right in front of the decimal, I would make my place value marks, and I would label this the ones, the tens, and the hundreds. And right behind the decimal, I have the tenths and the hundredths. Now that you have those places labeled, finding your answer should be easy. Number 6 is another GMA question. And so I'm going to go ahead and write my GMA right here. And my expression is brackets 74 minus 11 plus 2. And this is going to be in parentheses. Then we have a closing bracket times 3. So again, as I look at my problem and I know that I'm going to be solving GMA, I want to count my actions. So I see 1, 2, 3 actions. So it's going to take me 3 lines to get my answer. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and turn to the back side of my paper, continuing on with number 7. And number 7 is going to be a question about ordering some numbers. So I will expect you to go and read this problem on your own, but just so that you have the proper information set up, I'm going to go ahead and give you their names. We have Mung, we have Pinto, and we have Baba. And since you're going to be ordering some information, I'm just going to go ahead and set it up with my decimal point so that I can go in and fill my numbers when I see that problem. Number 8 is 3 times 8 minus parentheses 3 plus 7 parentheses. And just writing my steps here. Really what they want to know on number 8 is which part of this problem would you solve first. So make sure you read that carefully and find the right answer. Moving right along to number 9. Number 9, they give you some information about, it's kind of a multi-step problem. So I'm going to go ahead and throw this problem underneath the camera so that you can see it and we can kind of set it up carefully together. It says Andre works at a toy store. He ordered 600 fidget toys. He put 180 fidget toys in bags for online orders. The rest he separated equally. The rest he separated equally into 2 baskets to put by each register. Which equation can be used to find F, the number of fidget toys in each basket? So as I read this problem, the first thing I'm noticing is the amount of fidget toys he has. So I'm going to go ahead and draw a picture, a unit bar that represents how many fidget toys he has. And so I'm going to start off with 600. That's going to represent all of the fidget toys. Then when I go back and I read the second part, it says he put 180 fidget toys in bags for online orders. So it sounds like he's taking some of these fidget toys, 180, and he's putting them into bags. So I'm going to let you think about what action would go with that. The final thing that I read is The rest he separated equally into 2 baskets to put by each register. So the word separated equally. So when you separate, you're subtracting, but when you're doing it equally, you're dividing. So we put them into 2 baskets. So this would be basket 1 and this would be basket 2. So it looks like we would be dividing that into 2 equal pieces. So now that I've spread the problem, I've drawn my picture, I should be able to go back and think through each one of these equations to figure out the number of fidget toys in each basket. Moving on to number 10. Number 10. For number 10, it's another GMA, so we have T is equal to parentheses 3 plus 5 parentheses 24. And so as I just glance at this problem, I know it's GMA. I'm going to be looking for my actions, so I see adding and I see a snake in the grass, so we have multiplication. So that's 1, 2, 2 lines for solving to get the answer T. All right, moving right along to number 11. Number 11, you're going to be looking at a table and putting some information in there to find the number of coins collected in April. So let's just go ahead and sketch our table together, and then you can go back and look at this table. So we have the month and we have the coins. So we have the February information, 3,518. We have the March information, which is 4,026. And then we do not know the April information. So you'll need to read your question carefully and find the best equation for this problem. And then finally, number 12. I'm going to go ahead and give myself a little bit of room here for number 12. And for number 12, you're going to be rounding some numbers. Actually, number 12 has several parts. There's going to be 3 separate answers. So the number that you're looking at is 42 and 153 thousandths. So I'm going to do a little example for you on rounding to the nearest 10, which is not, actually, I'm just going to let you round this by yourself. I'm not going to put any information in here. So you're going to have 3 examples. So this first one, you're going to be rounding to the nearest 10th. So nearest 10th. I'm afraid if I do one for you, then it might confuse you finding your answer. Then you're going to be finding the nearest hundredth. And so this will actually be number 2 for 12, and this will be number 3 for 12. The first one is actually going to be rounding to the nearest whole number. So I'm going to put that one on top. Nearest whole. I'm sorry for messing up. Our work was so beautiful and now it's kind of off. So this will be question number 1. Okay? So I will go ahead and do the first one with you. If we're rounding to the nearest whole number, we're going to underline the digit in the ones place. And we're going to go to our neighbor next door. So that means we're either going to be looking at 42 going to squeeze 42 in here, or the very next whole number, which would be 43. So what could be between 42 and 43? That would be 42.5. And if this number is 42.1, it's going to be right over here. So this number is going to stay at 42. So your question number 1 is going to be 42. Now I'm going to let you round to the nearest tenth for number 2 on number 12, and number to the nearest hundredth for number 3 on number 12. And to make sure you do your very best, you'll move the pieces for number 12 to find your answer. If you are unsuccessful the first time, then go back and look at your notes, make some adjustments, and then you can solve again for a second try. Happy solving!